Who is the dragon? The dragon is the house of Sard. The angel reveals that they are not Arabs, but they are indeed Hindus, Indian Hindus, who the British, when they were occupying India, put upon the throne in Arabia to ensure a steady supply of cheap oil. They couldn't trust the Sunni Arabs, so they bought a Hindu from India. That's what the angel reveals to us. Now, the Arabs themselves, they are part of this. They represent the golden calf. The Arabs themselves are Ishmael. Ishmael are the seed of Abraham. Abraham had two sons, Ishmael and Isaac. The inheritance would go to Isaac as he was the son of Sarah, Abraham's wife. Ishmael was the son of Abraham's maid. God blessed Isaac to receive the inheritance, the blessings of Abraham. Even though Ishmael was the oldest, yet he was not the son of Sarah, who Allah blessed. So, Abraham's maid was from the tribe of Hindu. There were three tribes 50,000 years ago. The tribe of Hindu, where we refer to as India and the Hindu Kush, in that area, Afghanistan, one of those areas. Then you had Arabia, which is really North Africa. That was a tribe of Shabazz. And then what we refer to as Africa now, that was a tribe of Levites. Three tribes, all original. But the tribe of Shabazz was the ruling tribe, the main tribe. Tribe of Isaac. Remember, Ishmael, his mother, was from the Hindu tribe. So they backed her. So what they did is, being jealous of Isaac, they pushed the tribe of Shabazz out of Arabia into Africa, into the land of the Levites. The Levites didn't appreciate that, and the Hindus took over the tribe, took over Arabia. And that's why the Arabs, when Prophet Muhammad came along, he found the Arabs, Arabia, basically practicing Hinduism, because they had succumbed to the religion of Abraham's maid from the tribe of Hindu. So, we were pushed out 50,000 years ago. On the way out, we covered the whole Arabia with sand to protect it for our return. We knew we would return one day, and we did not want the land polluted, so we covered it with sand on our way out. However, the tribe of Levites, that's the tribe of Shabazz, the tribe of that Dr. Yaqub came out of, they were not happy with that result. Because as the tribe of Shabazz, even though they did not take anybody's land, they moved in as neighbors. But a lot of Levites began to adopt themselves to the tribe of Shabazz. So I'm going to briefly just talk about the process. At that time, the dominant traits are what you see when you look at the Somalis and Ethiopians, dark skin, but basically straight hair. Right? That was a dominant trait amongst the Levites, and also the tribe of Shabazz. Only the very elites, if you want to use that word, the, the God, the God part, the God section, if you want to call it that, right? The leaders, the scientists, the God Himself. They had the most strong. They possessed the strongest traits, right? Which means they possessed the dominant genes, which was nappy hair, dark skin. That was a trait that was really pretty much confined to the. I don't like to use the word elites, right? But the hierarchy, we'll say it like that. Okay, with Dr. Shabazz, what he attempted to do, what he and he did do, is start taking and expanding, cultivating that trait, because his whole idea was just to make the whole tribe of Shabazz give those the whole tribe of Shabazz. That's why I said, let us make man our likeness, our image. It's not talking about Adam. Read it carefully. See, that's what it means. So the whole tribe would have those dominant genes. That's what the Shabazz started 50,000 years ago. Then a lot of the Levites, right? They joined in that process, which the other Levites didn't like it. They didn't like it. Somalis, Ethiopians, so forth, they didn't like it. They wanted to keep it like they had it. That's the nature of the jinn. So as a result, 6,000 years ago, Dr. Yakub came on the scene, and he made his mankind, kind of man, to be like a hammer. The hammer, the tribe of Shabazz, and the hammer, the tribe of Hindus. And that's what we call the Europeans. That's their purpose. Okay. Now, as far as the dragon is concerned, get back to the dragon. See, a contract was made 50,000 years ago. And this contract with God, between God and Abraham, between Allah and Abraham, that we would go through this period of time as a result of energy deprivation, a sacrifice. That's what we're talking about. Abraham sacrificed his son. And if we endure that process to the end, then we would re-inherit the best part of planet Earth. We would get back what was taken from us 50,000 years ago, our land, so-called promised land. That was the covenant, Abrahamic covenant. Now the dragon is against that. The dragon and the golden calf. They're both against it. That's the Sunni Arabs and the Hindus, specifically the dragon, the house of Sod, because they're setting on that land. And remember, the Hindus, right? Indian Hindu, they didn't want to drove us out to begin with. They don't want us coming back in there. But specifically, the Sunni. They don't want us coming back in there. And it says, read chapter 12 at Injil, they will make war with us. First there'll be a war in heaven. That's the war between the Shia and the dragon. That's between the Shia and the Shia are Michael or Faraz's angels against the dragon. That's House of Sod and its angels, false Israel, Gog and Magog, which is America and Britain respectively. But said they would lose that war, and the dragon would be kicked out along with its angels. And they will seek revenge. And the dragon will be very wrathful. Wrathful. Why so wrathful? Because he's kicked out of there. He knows he's got a short time left because that Abrahamic covenant isn't possibly fulfilled, because that's what this plague is all about. So he said he'd be wrathful because he would go to war with us to keep us keep to prevent us from retaking our land. They've been at war with us for 5 years. They betrayed us. Remember, Ishmael betrayed us he betrayed his brother Joseph, which is us, into slavery. So they've been betraying us for 50,000 years. And now you got lying fools like Farrakhan telling us we need to embrace them because he's worked for them. They've paid him to stop us from even thinking about the promised land. Because what does he say? He says we're not going anywhere. So in other words, he's calling God a liar and he's aiding them. Because God said we're going back. Elijah Muhammad said we'd be fools to stay in the land of our imprisonment. That's the whole purpose of Master Prophet Muhammad coming here to begin with. The whole purpose of coming here. But Farrakhan said we're not going anywhere. So he called it the whole reason why Master Farad Muhammad came here was a lie. And Elijah Muhammad's mission was a lie. And that when Elijah Muhammad said that we'd be fools to want to stay here in the land of our imprisonment, then he must have been the fool because we're not going anywhere. You understand? So he's being paid off by them to make us forget the covenant, make us not want to come back here, make us, want to stay here, not ever coming back to Arabia. That's what his purpose is, and that's what he's doing. So that's what's happening with that. And so they've been against us all the time. They know exactly what's going on. And so that failing, because they lost the war, and black folks were coming together. Their sole mission is to return to the promised land. Then he's going to attack. He couldn't do it ideologically with Sunnism. He couldn't do a clandestine with Farrakhan. So now he's going to attack direct, says he will be wrath with the woman, he will make war with the woman. That's talking about us, the true seed of Abraham. Again, they are the seed of Abraham also. False Israel is not. They are. Right? Not the house of Saud. They're not. See? I mean, in some ways they might if they're descendants out of Abraham's maid, but we're not going to worry about that. But you understand? That's who the dragon is. He's our enemy. He's not our open enemy. The Quran talks about open enemy. It doesn't explain who the closed enemy are. They're the closed enemy. But they're about to be manifest as an open enemy in a few days. That's what the dragon is. They're not our friends. They're out to destroy us. Read chapter 12. They're out to destroy us. And they also are the jinn who refuse to submit to Adam. Who is Adam? And you wonder. They claim they understand the Quran. Quran is their book, but yet they run here to Adam. So they don't know who Adam is. For them, Sunnis say we're all from Adam. So how do we get black? So, well, what about the black mustache in the shape? See, it's all confusing to them. See? So they say we're all from Adam, but we know Adam represents America and Britain. So if you understand that, why in the world would you want to run over here? If you really a Muslim. So those things to be thought about. Anyway, that's who Ishmael is. That's who Ishmaelites are. Right? Their whole intention is to destroy us. They do not want to give up that land. And that's why Joshua he was a warrior priest. He had to fight his way all the way back home and retake his land. Thank you, brothers and sisters. Move on. Chapter 12 of the Injil, called Revelations. First, they talk about this woman. She had the moon under her feet, clothed with the sun, and impregnated with a child. So she gives birth to a son and a child. So this represents that woman. But this presentation is about the dragon. So we're going to refer to chapter 12 to explain what the dragon is all about. So it starts out with the woman. So let's move on to the next to the next page. Now, here is the dragon. This is the angel key You put this together, this is the angel key. So every chapter has to be the angel key. The symbols may change, but the key remains the same. So in this case, they talked about the key relative to the dragon. So we use those symbols in this case. So we see a dragon, and this dragon has 7 heads and 10 horns and a fiery red tail. That's what we see here. We see the 7 heads are the European countries, the 10 horns, 6 of them Oriental countries, and 4 of them the Asian countries. And we see the Prince of Saudi there, right? Okay, that is the dragon. The dragon represents the house of Saud. The angel reveals to us that they are not even Arabs. They're Indians that the British put on the throne to guarantee the flow of oil to America and Britain and to Europe in general. And in return, they would guarantee they would protect their seat on the throne because they could not entrust that to Arab Muslims. So they're masquerading as Arab Muslims. But the angel tells us they're actually Indian Hindus. That's the dragon. Okay? And there's his 7 heads with crowns upon his heads. That's what that means. And then 10 horns, then you see a tail. Right? We show it as the wind there. And that's the fiery red tail. And above that is the woman. You put the whole thing together, you have the angel key. Here's the dragon tail that completes the entire angel key. You have the woman, you have the dragon, you have the tail. We still hear the falling away of the son of addition. Now he's sitting in Elijah's seat. And the woman has fled into the wilderness. That's what's talked about in chapter 12. That's what's going on here. The great falling away first, and then the son of addition, Farrakhan, is revealed. That's what's going on here. But the dragon still has authority because the crowns represents authority is with the European countries. It has 6 wings, Satan and his 6 wings. European countries are ruled by Satan. Satan is the god of this world, and this world is ruled by the Caucasians. The top 2 are the Shia, they're the European Muslim. The top 2 of each nation are the Muslim part of that nation, the Islamic part of that nation. It's like with the horns, the moon up there is part of the Asian nation, right? They're the Muslim part. But here we see it separated with the top. So we see here in 1990 the Gulf War, so-called Gulf War, when the Shia, Iran, and Syria is cast down. And during that time, Suleiman, right, the lamb, which is represented by the sun, comes and attempts to minister to the NOI, Nation of Islam, under Farrakhan, and is rejected. So this is the structure here, 1990. Okay. Now this is after the war takes place. The war is about to happen. This is about to happen where America, Britain, and false Israel, Satan, is cast out of the Middle East as talked about in the chapter 12 of the Injil, aka Revelations. This is about to happen. And at this point, the dragon authority is still with the European countries. But this war is about to take place. In fact, the war is happening now. It just haven't reached the boiling point. We see Afghanistan has just been, Afghanistan has just defeated European countries, and that's a country that's the neighbor of Iran. In fact, it used to be part of the Persian Empire because Iran is the old Persian Empire, and their language, Pashtun, I believe it is an old Iranian language. So this is what's about to happen here. So we see the authority at this point is still with the European countries. Now we see the power shift as talked about in the Injil, aka Revelations, where you have the beast who has 7 heads and 10 horns, with the crowns upon his horns. That represents a power shift to the beast, from the dragon to the beast. In chapter 13, it talks about that the dragon gave his great power, his authority, to the beast. That means a power shift. So America is at war with China and North Korea and Russia and the EU, who has turned on them. They're at war. So the Europeans are warring with each other. As the Quran said, he will let some of them surge against others. So now they're at war, and the Asian and Oriental countries take advantage of that, and there's a great power shift. Now they're the most powerful. They're the superpowers. And we see China emerging as a great superpower, and they're very angry with America and Britain. We see that in Daniel, where it says that the goat coming across the western west without feet touching the ground. It means it's coming over the Pacific Ocean. He's very angry at the ram who has 10 horns. That's America and Britain. He takes Britain down first, and he takes America down. That's what this going. So this power shift. So now you got the beast and you got the dragon. That's what it's talked about. Same key hasn't changed. It's just the power shift here. That's about to happen. See, when America goes to war, everything. When America kicks out of the Middle East, everything will change. They immediately go to war, and the power shift is going to be with China, and then they're going to invade America and Britain and take them out. Here we see the dragon and his 7 heads and the crowns upon his heads. We see the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns, the crowns upon his horns. That's the beast, the power shift. And then we also see another beast who has 7 heads and 10 horns, and no crowns upon his horns, nor upon his heads. That represents, it said this beast will be alongside the beast that has 7 heads and 10 horns, and his crowns upon his horns. So that represents the Asian nation, the Oriental nation, which is called Death and Hades, and then the other beast that will be alongside them. That would be the non-Islamic African nations that will be with them when they invade America. Hope you understand, brother and sister. This is what that means. Okay, Assalamu alaikum.